Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is finally coming to PC on January 23rd, almost a year since launching on PS5. Between all the awards and overwhelming critical support, there are a lot of expectations from this port. It's pretty much the same in terms of story and content with no DLC forthcoming, but there are several new graphical options to put it over the console version. Here are 15 things you should know about the acclaimed RPG before picking it up on PC, which is currently discounted by 30% until launch. Setting. Without getting into spoilers for the first part, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth ventures beyond Midgar into the wider world. From the quaint village of Calm, players will navigate extensive plains, visit cities like Junon and Costa del Sol, and much more. Some locations from the original aren't present in Rebirth, though they will appear in the third part. The same goes for Cid's airship, the Highwind. Nevertheless, the world is teeming with side quests and secrets, including the usual towers to uncover neighboring activities. Exploration and traversal. While Final Fantasy VII Rebirth does feature a fair number of linear areas, the larger open regions are arguably the main highlight. The size and scale of these locations are such that there are even different chocobo types with unique movement abilities to help get around, from climbers to flyers. You even get a buggy at one point, which can traverse all kinds of terrain. Characters. Cloud, Tifa, Barret, Aerith, and Red 13 return from the first part, with new abilities and skills to their repertoires. This time, Red 13 is playable and packs Vengeance mode, which improves his damage and speed while allowing him to leech health from enemies. Yuffie joins the party after appearing in episode Intermission and still carries over the ability to imbue weapons with different elements. And finally, there's Cait Sith, whose skills change depending on whether he's on his Moogle, and whose name you've probably been pronouncing wrong since the original Final Fantasy VII. Of course, there are other characters you'll encounter. Even though the likes of Vincent Valentine aren't playable, you'll have to play for yourself. Combat improvements. Though it uses the same combat system as Remake with the ATB gauge and limit breaks, Rebirth expands on it in numerous ways. You can acquire dual-type materia to harness, say 2 different elements on top of various other options. Folios are utilized to upgrade your character with SP and are the key to unlocking synergy abilities. New summons like Phoenix, Bahamut Arisen, Titan, and more have also been added. Synergy abilities. You also have new synergy abilities, essentially team-ups between 2 party members. Depending on the current party, these can unleash powerful attacks that deal massive damage up close and at range, with few defensive options also available. The best part is that they don't require spending ATB bars, thus providing another resource to decimate enemies. Minigames. If there's one other pillar that defines the Rebirth experience, it's the minigames. Queen's Blood is a standalone card game with its own side quest chain, while Fort Condor offers some tower defense fun. The Junon Parade has also been expanded into something spectacular, and the Gold Saucer is jam-packed with the likes of Galactic Saviors, G-Bike, 3D Brawler, and more. Do you need to ace them all? No, but they do offer tons of additional fun regardless. Nvidia DLSS and VRR support. Nvidia DLSS is available out of the box for improved frame rates, which should also help those struggling with performance. The developer also confirmed that variable refresh rate, VRR, is supported, which is a good thing given the higher frame rates. Up to 4K and 120 FPS support. For all its visual beauty on PS5 and even PS5 Pro, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth's upper limit is 4K 60 FPS, and that resolution is archived with PSSR's upscaling. The PC version also supports resolutions up to 4K, but it also offers frame rates up to 120 frames per second. Long story short, if you want to experience the RPG in the most visually pleasing way possible, the PC version looks to be the ticket. Graphics presets and options. While the full range of graphic settings have yet to be revealed, there will be 3 presets: low, medium, and high. Players can also adjust the background model level of detail and texture, maps to enhance the visuals, and more. This should result in the PC version offering the highest level of graphical fidelity. Lighting improvements and customizable on-screen NPC count. The developer touts lighting adjustments for the PC version alongside significantly improved light rendering. The results also apply to cutscenes, making them look even better than before. You can also customize the number of on-screen NPCs for further performance gains. Dualsense support. Like many of Sony's ports of first-party PS5 exclusives, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on PC will support the Dualsense controller. Furthermore, it features the same controls as on console, allowing fans for the console version to seamlessly translate their experience over to PC. Keyboard and mouse support. Those who prefer to play on a mouse and keyboard are also in luck as Rebirth supports both on PC. Furthermore, you can remap them according to different activities with separate configurations for combat, minigames, and exploration. Steam Deck support. Having an experience like this on the go would truly be something. And while the developer hasn't quite given it the Steam Deck approved label, it is working diligently on optimizations to ensure that the Steam version is playable on the handheld. PC requirements. With everything that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth offers on PC, it's no surprise that the requirements can be hefty, especially on the low end. To play at low settings and 1080p 30fps, you need a Ryzen 5 1400 or Intel Core 148100, a Radeon RX 6600, Intel Arc 1580, or Nvidia GeForce RTX 2060 and 16GB of RAM. For medium settings and 1080p 60fps, a Ryzen 5 5600, Ryzen 7 3700X, Core i7 8700, or Core i5 10400, a Radeon RX 6700 XT or GeForce RTX 2070, and 16GB of RAM are necessary. It's worth noting that playing at 4K on either low or medium requires a GPU with at least 12GB of VRAM. As for high settings, at 2160p 60fps, a Ryzen 7 5700X or Core i7 10700, a Radeon RX 7900 XTX or GeForce RTX 4080, and 16GB of RAM are needed. This time, a GPU with 16GB of VRAM or higher is required for playing in 4K. Windows 11 64-bit is mandatory for the recommended and ultra requirements. And if that wasn't enough, you need a whopping 155GB of installation space on a solid-state drive. Playtime. Much has been made about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth's extensive playtime. The developer revealed before the PS5 version's launch that it had doubled the side content of Remake. Sure enough, How Long to Beat reveals that the main story and extra content takes about 91.5 hours on average to beat, with the main story only requiring about 47.5 hours. And if you opt to complete everything, it could easily take about 167 hours. Hey, did you know that we at GamingBolt upload new videos every day? Stick around, drop a like, subscribe, and hit that bell, and let us know what kind of content you'd like to see in the future with a comment below.